Well, hi and welcome to my shop today for hopefully some fun with this radio. My plan is to test it out by hooking it up to an antenna and seeing what I got from it. And I may very well bring his older big brother in here too for a comparison. Not sure how far I'm going to get with this. Shortwave at this time of day isn't the greatest thing. It's 10 o'clock in the morning here. I do have my SDR radio operating. It's actually on the antenna right now, so we're going to take a look at what the SDR can show us. And we're going to take a look at the 19 meter band, which is a 15 megahertz band, and see we're going to start there. I think that's probably a good place to start at this time of the morning. So I'm going to flip away from this radio. I'm not even going to turn it on. We're going to go right to the SDR and just sort of examine the band, so to speak. Okay, so here's my SDR radio. Let me just slide it over this way. So this blue area is the shortwave band up around 15 megahertz. You can see 15 megahertz itself is right here. And the band starts about, I guess, 15100 or so and goes up quite a ways. This old radio doesn't go as high. This band, I'll take that back. I'm looking at the radio right now. It goes all the way from 14.9 to 15.9, 1 megahertz. Well, that's great because that means it's going to get WWV. Huh. Maybe my other radio is reduced. But anyway, that's great. It shows the whole band. Fantastic. Now, what do we got on this band? So there's a station here, I think. I'm going to turn the speaker on my
Florida,
SDR.
USA, and www.wrmi.net. Send us your comments and reception reports to info@wrmi.net. Hello, this is Bob Zanotti, and
listening to Supreme Master Television on International Shortwave Radio via WRMI, Okeechobee, Florida, USA. Please send your comments to hotline at suprememastertv.com.
Yeah, Supreme Master TV. If you're not a shortwave listener, you may never have heard of this. This is all over the shortwave, so Supreme Master TV. For some reason, TV, it's on the radio. Okay, so there's not much else on this band except down towards this end of it. Let's just skip right down to here. See what that is. Now, one of the things, when I tune this, I'm going to be just clicking the numbers up here. They're going to move by 5 kilohertz. If the red line does not fall right on top of the signal down here, the signal is not a shortwave station. All shortwave stations are at 0s or 5s here. And that thing faded right out. Let's listen anyway. There's something there, but it's fading right out. Okay, and down we go. Station there, but very weak. Station there, but very weak. (15140) usually has a fairly strong station on it. This one we might get with the old radio. (15100), there's a station there, right at the start of the band. Now we're going to go down to 15 megahertz. This is where WWV is. It's trying. You can see it there, but you can't hear it yet. That's the amazing thing about the SDRs. You can see the signals before you can hear them. So there we are. Just one station way up here, and a couple down at this end. Now let's see what the old radio can do. So we're having a terribly rainy day here. Let me make sure this is turned off. I think that's off. There we go. Yeah, I think that's off. Switch on. There we go. Full power. Let me douse the lights here a little bit. band indicator is two sliding pieces of metal with slots, and the slots line up as you slide these pieces of metal across. The lineup moves from here to here to here, so you can see through. So what band are we on? We're on the broadcast band. Can you see the slot is just a little there? How about like that? Just move the whole radio. Yeah, I haven't bolted it in yet. It's too soon to bolt it in. So we're going to change bands and watch the light indicator. Nice, eh? The one we're heading for is this one. Now I got to put the antenna on it. We don't have an antenna on it. I think it's already trying to receive though. Okay, I reviewed the wires here before I put them away. The white one is the one we're after. I got the volume up too high. Won't zero out the volume. Ground. Antenna. So that's now connected to an outdoor antenna. Now you saw on the SDR what it's capable of. So let's go right up to 15. So that has to be 15100, I believe. I'm going to just change my camera here. This is going to be a little ugly. Get it lower. So you're looking straight on to the dial. Could have sworn I just heard WWV beep there. Okay, we'll try now 15.1. It's a little disappointing. Sounds terribly consistent here. That's not a very good showing. So I'm going to remove the ground from the antenna line. There. I haven't even turned the volume up yet. Well, it's a nothing. Band switch. No. Okay, so we're going to jump to the 11 band. megahertz. So I'm going to attach the ground again, see what happens here. That's what happens. I don't know what the shaky noise is. Rubber mallet time. What's happening?
Okay, yo no me gradué de la Universidad de Miami. Estaba en la Universidad de Miami cuando estaba trabajando también para el Centro del Cáncer de la Universidad de Miami, que es hoy el Sylvester. Cuando ellos me contrataron en la segunda fase de este trabajo, parece una educación para las 7 enseñanzas de cáncer.
What happened there?
Fue diseñada como uno de los 19 centros de cáncer en los Estados Unidos, en lo que le habían declarado la guerra al cáncer. Entonces en español no había nada. Y así fue como yo empecé a ir a la radio y televisión haciendo anuncios de servicio público y hablando de las 7 señales del cáncer. Y así fue como ir. Y un día de pronto me
this station can usually be found in 2 places.
Tenía una emisora bilingüe para personas jóvenes que hablamos español.
Lightning in the area this morning. There's heavy storms in the area.
Y en este jingle, en este formato de hablar en español,
okay, now we're gonna
entre medio poner estas canciones en inglés.
Wish I could turn the volume down. Jeepers, that's really a problem.
En ninguna.
Oh, that turns it down. I didn't want to do that. That's a tone control. That last switch was onto phono. That's nice. Okay, so we'll take a look at the SDR. We'll compare this band. This is the 25 meter band. Oh, what is going on here? What is it about rocking this back and forth? Can't be anything. There's probably a bit of lightning there. So I'm pushing the entire frame of the tuning capacitor now. I didn't really check it to see if it was loose. Not bad. It moves around a bit, but... Now, what happened just now? What exactly just happened? What happened? I just moved it this way. The only thing that's moving is this antenna wire. I think it might have just been the antenna wire for some strange reason there. Okay, now back to the SDR. Let's go check it out. Okay, so I'm just gonna... I can't quiet this radio. I gotta turn it off. I have to turn it right off to get it out of the picture. Oh, that must be the local oscillator from the radio over here, as I was tuning it there. So we can look, oh, I gotta hook up the antenna now. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put this antenna on both radios at the same time. Not a particularly good thing to do, but just too handy to be ignored here. Okay, so we have one station here. Okay, and we'll listen to it.
Metre. Y así fue, gracias a esos DJs que mandaban saber a Miami entero.
As you can see on this band, that's all there is. There's nothing more. 11:15. Well, we'll take a look at the 16 megahertz, 16 meter band. Getting my meters and megahertz mixed up. I wouldn't expect anything up here. There it is here. Nothing. There's nothing. What are these? Well, this is a good chance for me to say something now.
Eso lo hacía yo ahí mismo en la cabina, nos divertíamos. Llegó un momento que...
These SDR radios, I have found, pick up stations or appear to be receiving stations where they don't exist. There is no radio station here at 16 or whatever this is, 16900. This station's not there. This is the one we heard down at 11. The SDR I have here in my shop, and the one I have a different type of SDR, an RTL SDR, the cheapo guys. In my office, same thing. They pick up stations, you can't be sure. If they're out of the band, you can be pretty sure they're not really there. But if they're in the band, you can't be sure that they're really there, and they aren't some kind of weird artifact that occurs in these radios. Okay, so let's go down and check this band. This is the one we were listening to, a few stations. We go a little lower. 13. Now I can't. Now, that sounds like a time signal. There's no time signal there. I don't know what to think. There's no station here. Wow, that's really disappointing. That really shows how poor these this kind RTL SDR radios are. I think I'm going to leave the SDR out of the picture from here on. We're just going to rely on this radio, and we're going to find out what's out there to be received today. Back on, please. Yeah, it's really the wrong time of day to be doing this, but you know, it is what it is. More lightning there, so 11.8 is where we are. Picks that up nice. Okay, so we'll take a shot. We'll go on this band, 10 megahertz to 6 megahertz. Might be something up around here.
14. Basel, 14. The 5th of the London from 1512 to 1517, and that of Trent, 1545 to 1563. We don't usually connect religious observance to astronomy, but you know, there's a very close connection. From the very beginning, Jesuits have dominated the field of astronomy and other closely related.
That may be the only station on this band right now. That very strong station you can hear much of the day. We've gone. We shouldn't hear anything down here. Just some funny noises. Okay, we'll go up. We already tried this band. Let's just check it again. This is what I love about this radio. That's how quick you can find a station. Fade it out. Conditions. Oh. There we are. Okay, now we get a chance to check the frequency. How well did I do? Not so good. So this should be at 15. Now you can see it's really a little tricky to look at in the camera. It's about 15,900. All that work. It didn't work. Hey, you know what we're going to do? We're going to... This is now tuned to 15. Let's go see my marks on the back of this radio. So that's 15.3 there. There's no marks on the back here to help. Yeah, it's just not gonna. This is not the right spot. That's a woman's voice.
UTC on April 28th was no steep weather storms are predicted for the next 24 hours.
Well, I reacted there at the woman's voice because that usually means it's Hawaii. But I'm not sure if that's still true. But anyway, it's a man's voice from Colorado and a woman's voice from Hawaii. Is there a fault in my wire here? Why is it so problematic? I always think that radio's directional. It can't be. It's just coincidence. The fading. Okay, let's go up a band. 17 megahertz. I think sometimes there's one lonely station up here. American religious station. That's a long ways. Keep thinking I hear a voice right here. I'm hearing voices. Makes radio repair really difficult if you hear voices. And we might as well, just for fun, we'll go to the top band. Nobody up here. Not right now. 22 megahertz. Very consistent sounding radio when it comes to the noise level. Okay, what are we finding out? It's receiving, doesn't seem to be receiving wonderfully. Can't be sure about all these different bands. There's nothing there to receive right now. I'm not going to engage my signal generator until I have the other radio in here and everything set up for that. Just want to get one per view through here. There we go. I'm going to fetch its older big brother. Bring him in here. Well, there they are, the two brothers together for the first time. Now, I think this one might be 3 or 4 years older than this guy. I'm not really sure. I'm assuming this is an updated version of this. And what I want to do is make some physical measurements here. Compare the cabinet a little bit. Let's just do that. So this guy is 19 and a half. And this guy is 20 and a half, an inch wider. Height is it's exactly the same height. Now, one of the differences here is this angled piece. So this front just comes straight down, but this one has this angle coming up, and then the front here is actually angled back a bit, meaning this projects upwards. So it's pretty easy to look at while you're standing here. It's just about direct on where I'm standing. This one, not so much. You kind of want to get down and look at it. There's parallax problems with the indicators in here, so you do want to be looking straight in. Although, as I found out, what does it really matter? It's not that accurate anyway. You'll see that I've got some weird knobs on this one because the original knobs, except for this one, have broken, and they're gone. So it's kind of neat that this has got all of his knobs. Now, one of the big differences here is the number of bands. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, and here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them here. So what they've done with this radio is they've combined this band, and this band into just one band here. Why exactly they chose to do that? It's going to reduce, I guess, the number of parts in the radio, maybe make it a little cheaper to make. Don't really know why they would do that. I don't think there's any, advantage to shortwave listening, because this would be the advantage, because it's band spread. Every shortwave band is spread. I got this radio from a gentleman who, when I was in late high school, he employed me in his factory making skidoo trailers. Yes, I made skidoo trailers for a while. And he invited me over to his house one night because he knew I liked shortwave radio, and took me in his garage, and to my surprise, no car in his garage. All over the floor were radios. And there must have been 40 or 50 of them just sitting on the floor of his garage. And I was really taken aback by it. And he goes, "Hey, pick one. It can be yours." So I looked them over and I picked this guy. And I picked them because of these bands showing up here. I thought this one had a little more of a technical look to it. Yeah, it's a wooden cabinet and all that. The other radios were your typical shortwave radios. This one stood out, so I grabbed it. Pretty glad I did. Now, unfortunately, the trim piece was cracked here, and try as I may, I lost the piece. I tried to hold on to it to eventually, put it back in and fix it. But I ended up making this wooden piece. Looks kind of ugly, but there's a crack right through here. There's a crack right through there. This is just cracking. This one, completely intact. It might be a little thicker than this one. So, I would turn them around. It's a bit of a hassle right now. I've got them ready to go. So why don't we have a listen to this one? I had this one in my shop 3 years ago, 2 years ago, some time ago. It was in here, tuned them all up. And then, as is usually the problem, I really can't demonstrate radios properly here in my shop. It's just not conducive to it. But I took this out in my garage, and I hooked it up to a short antenna, just a piece of wire, and I was floored. So I think the shortwave was really hot that particular night, but wow, this guy was just picking everything up. It was wonderful. I've hardly used it since. Actually, I hadn't used it since. Been sitting on the shelf. Isn't that terrible? I have too many radios to pick one. So, he's plugged in. He's ready to go. Let's go. Plugged in, but the power's not turned on. Let's try that again. Excitement, kind of. Here we go. There we are. So the band so this is tuning. This is the band change. It's the other way around on this one. So you can already tell that mechanically whatever they've done inside on the chassis is quite different. These two radios are quite different in that respect. That's pretty quiet. Okay, so which band are we on? So I have no antenna on the broadcast band. We're on this band right now. Hey man, you're not going to get anywhere? Maybe troubleshooting right off the bat? Not a sound coming out of it. Well, that was a demonstration of that radio. The last time I played it, it worked wonderfully. Stone silent now. Okay, so I think I'm going to... We can't do the comparison thing yet. I'm going to have to try to get this guy going a little bit. So that's what we're going to focus on next. PYE number 2. Okay, so I've now switched to trying to figure out what's wrong with my other PYE radio, this one. This is a 39HC version of it, quite a different name. And the first thing I noticed is, hey, there's a tube missing in there. I don't recall anything about it. That's the rectifier tube. Did I put permanent diode rectifiers in here? So I have to take the radio out. This is definitely going downhill. And while I'm doing that, this guy's showing up. What are you doing? Just taking her usual route to the bench. Can you do it? Yes, of course. She's a cat. Okay, glad you're here, Shadow. Shadow the Terror Cat. So So this, as I now know, these are the wires that should have gone to the loop antenna, which should be on the back of this radio, which I never had. So these have never had a proper antenna hooked up, and that's why I've never been able to receive AM with this radio. I now realize all this stuff. Another thing that I think is really interesting to note is if you look way up in the radio here, and you look at the side of this, what do you see? You see a scale put there. And I'll bet you if I looked again at the alignment instructions, they use the scale to tell you where to tune to. So see, now if this is the older version of this radio, then what happened that they forgot the scale going forward? Is this really the older version? Or is this actually a newer, improved version of that one, including extra bands? It's a physically bigger radio. I don't know. Interesting. We're going to have to take the chassis out here. I'm going to have to look underneath it to find out if, where did the tube go? I may have stolen that tube to use in another radio and just forgotten about it. But I don't dare put a tube in there until I know for sure I didn't do something underneath. So now I'm a little smarter about how these radios go in and out. It's really easy to get out. I just have to take out this one screw. One screw because I didn't bother putting two in. So there's a track in here that I now realize and remember. This radio should just slide out. But first, I have to get these guys off here. Now, one of the things I like about coming in my shop every day is I really don't know for sure what's going to happen. I get carried away on interesting stuff, well, stuff I find interesting. And you kind of never really know how it's going to go. This your way of fixing it, Shadow? My intention has always been to have this radio set up and ready to go, just flip it on and use it, and I just never quite got there. Too many radios. Okay, is this loose and free? Yeah. Watch out, cat! Watch out! Plugs on the speaker, so I don't have to worry about that. It's heavy. Wow. There we go. Let's flip it up. We'll take a look. There's all my handiwork in there. Wow, I brought the cord way over there. I didn't bring it out this way. Just to get through this little divot in the... Oh, it's got a divot here too. Okay, enough of that. Some memories coming back. I seem to remember this capacitor. So the question is, did I put diodes in where this tube should be? And the answer is no. No, I did not. So I must have stole it for the sake of another radio and then forgotten about it. So let's figure out what the other radio. It's a 5Y3. I'll bet you it's the same in this one. I'm just going to peek at the schematic here for it. And V6. Do they list it somewhere? So far all I've seen is it's called V6. There we are, V6 5Y3. Okay, so we have a bad 5Y3 in here. A weak one. I could just pop in there. Or should I look for a better one? What do you say, Shadow? Okay, judging by the purring, I should look for a better one. So I'm going to find a better 5Y3 here. Well, the last tube test I did in here was a 5Y3, so I don't have to set anything up. And hopefully this is a good one. P1 and P2. Okay, check for shorts. Short on one, that's normal for this type of tube. Rectifiers have to come up past my finger. Past my finger. That's all it takes. She's a good one. Very good. Now I'm going to show you something in a book here. I have a number. Don't have quite a few. I have a few quite old books on electronics, and I like looking through them. They have interesting perspective back then. You know, they didn't know all there was. But in this book, on this page, this is all the tubes there were at that time. The various types of vacuum tubes. There they all are. So, you see a UV200, UV199, or 299, WD11, I have one of those, WD12. These are 201s, or really 01As. 01As, lots and lots of these around. 301, 201, same tube, different maker. Western Electric N tube, Western Electric 216A with that bulb on it there, that globe shape. That's it. That was your selection when? In this is the Flinton Public Library. Where's Flinton? Copyright 1926. Originally 22 and 24, so 26. 1926. So 1926, this is what you had. These were the latest hot guys out there on the market. 1923 is when they started manufacturing tubes. I'll take that back. That's probably not true. That's not true. Let's see. That's not true. Okay, we got a tube in there. I did put it in the radio, didn't I? Didn't I? Okay, so no surprise it operated so quietly. Now I'll put it back into the cabinet so we can read the front of it. Let's put it down and make sure it's working before we do that. I might even, well, maybe better in the cabinet during our comparison test, I think. But we're going to make sure it works. We can't even make sure it works, no speaker. Okay, I'm going to put it back in the cabinet and we'll get them back up on the thing here. Shadow, you going to help me with this? Shadow, going to help me with this? Okay, time for another test. Hopefully this one's going to go a little bit better than the last one. Volume's down. And the band we're on, we'll start with this band, 49 meter band. Not sure what the click and the pop was, but there we are. That's the same rumble you could hear on the other radio. Okay, I don't expect to hear anything there. Next band, 7 megahertz band. Might hear something here. quiet. Nine megahertz band.
The air of it back and our father. So, hey, as Jews on that day were getting this. They were getting the program. Men and brethren, watch.
Don't know what that was.
And then change your mind. Now get your mind changed about this. Get it right, going right. And then he says, repent
Tone.
and conjunction and be baptized. And this is shocking now.
Radio. That'd be phono. These are the last two are phono. Where'd it go? Come on, what's so quiet? Get the mallet.
Unbelievably mighty statement that was to those Jews that day. Wait a minute. The very
I'm gonna get this ready.
opposing, and among the Jews were those who had.
Yeah. It's very, very quiet, this radio is now. We'll go to the next band over. Ooh, quiet, eh? Quiet, eh? So we're on 11 megahertz now, 25 meter band. You should get lots of stuff here, maybe. Lots of stuff, maybe. Maybe not. Okay, we'll try the next one. This is lighting up the 17. Did I get off on my bands? Yeah, this is. I guess I got off at some point. My knob's loose. So we're on 15. 15. Maybe this is where we were just a moment ago. With this radio, you can tune fairly fast. I think that's 15770. And we've got something. So I'm going to disconnect the ground wire on the antenna from the back of the radio. Made no difference. Minor difference. Made a big difference on the other radio. WWV would be right in here. That's probably 15140. Be just about the right spot. Okay, we'll jump up on the high band here. 17 megahertz. Fat chance anything's up here. Nope. And 21. No. Just not a lot, to be doing this at this time of day. Back to 11. This is why I love this radio.
Apoya o está apoyado por estas fuerzas más bolivarianas, que la mayoría son enfrentadas a él, porque
the radio just went quiet again. Something in there a little loose. Off the band. Thought we had something there, and then is it just my antenna connections maybe? Nope. So I'm whacking the big capacitor and wiggling it. I did not apply the rubber mallet. Okay, well, the two radios are working similarly, but pretty hard to compare, having done what I just did. There's not a lot of signals out there to receive right now, but we can certainly use my own generated signals here and compare the two radios that way. It's a little more fun listening to actual radio stations, but that's what's next, I think. We'll make a comparison using equipment on the two radios across the two, band by band by band, and just compare the two of them. See if we can find anything out. Okay, I think I'm all set again, but first let's do a band range comparison on these two guys. Start at the high end. This is 21 to 22.4. This is 20 above 21 to just below 22.2. Okay, next one over is 16 meter bands, 17.2, 18.4, 17.2, 18.4. Looks like they're pretty much the same. 14.9 to 15.9. Above 14.9 to maybe not quite 15.9. 11.4 to 12.2. 11.4 to 12.2. And then this one band, it goes all the way from 6. So we could compare that here at 6, but actually it starts at 5.9. And it ends at 10. I don't think 10 appears on here, but 10 would be just down here. And 10 is outside of a broadcast band. So again, the thing I love about this radio is that each one of these bands is the broadcast band. So all this receiver will receive is broadcasts from international broadcasts. You can hop between bands and up and down so fast. It's fantastic. It really is a nice radio to use. So I guess we just switch them both on and then try to fish out the same station from both. Put the power on here. Back up a little bit. Okay, and we'll shoot for that signal at 9 megahertz. That's here. Now something's not quite right here. Pointer's doing some really weird stuff here. That's strange. I won't go into what it was doing, but so there we got. Sounds a little better with a little more. So I'm gonna quiet down my microphones here a bit.
Bringing world's last transmission to you. USA. Violent crime, political unrest, financial instability. Everything points to an impending crisis. A crisis like no other. Tune in to World's Last Chance Radio to learn how you can spiritually prepare for what lies ahead. WLC Radio, preparing a people for the Savior's imminent return.
Hello, I want to welcome our listeners to another program on WLC Radio. I'm your host, Miles Roby, and my friend Dave Wright is joining me by my side to bring you messages each day from Yah's words.
Hello, Miles, and hello to our listener as well, and welcome. We're really glad that you've made us part of your day.
I want to give an especially warm welcome to anyone who's joining us for the first time, as well as a word of explanation as well. So, on World's Last Chance, we prefer to use the personal names of the Father and the Son. God and Lord, they're just generic titles.
So the volume's turned down here. The tone quality changes. The bass disappears.
A substitute for the actual personal names that appeared in the original Hebrew. The Father's personal name is Yahweh, or Yah, and the Son's name is Yahushua.
Scripture repeatedly urges us to call upon the name of the Lord, but it doesn't actually say Lord, it says Yahweh. Call upon the name of Yahweh. So those are the names that we prefer to use.
apologize for that. The volume had disappeared over here, so I thought, well, let's find out what's going on. I turned this set off, and when I did, for some reason this thing popped to life. Another one of those weird things. Well,
All I was going to do was ask about your first car. Tell me, how did you come to own your first vehicle?
Oh, do you know,
it's fantastic.
it
Yeah?
was great. I worked and saved up for actually
Okay.
quite a few years.
Strange sound there too. So that's going to be it for today. What I want to do tomorrow with these two radios is compare them by using a signal generator and just check each band against each other and just see if there isn't something I can find out about them that might require some more attention or anything like that. But I think they're both working pretty well. I think that's really the bottom line. And you know what, maybe I'll come in here this evening and we'll tune around a bit. That might be a good idea. When the shortwave's there to be received. Not much right now. This is just about the worst time of day to be trying this. Thanks for watching.